Chapter 271, Who's Fishing? The next day, Fang Hao arrived at the hospital and was soon summoned by Yang Wenjin. He noticed another person in the hospital director's office, Zhou Long. Yang Wenjin handed a medical record to Fang Hao, and after glancing through it, she said, "Take a look, what do you think?" The medical record detailed the treatment progress of Jiang Qiusheng. Fang Hao, after reviewing it, was somewhat surprised. Over the past few days, Jiang Qiusheng's treatment had been progressing slowly. Upon comparing the medication, he noticed an issue. Zhou Long had replaced the imported medicine with a domestically produced one, which Zhou Long had advocated for the hospital to introduce. It wasn't about undermining the quality of domestic products, it was just that the patent for this drug belonged to a foreign pharmaceutical company, and their quality was indeed top-notch. Chain of interests? Zhou Long had quite the audacity, actually profiting from the life of someone like Jiang Qiusheng. "Zhou Long, you're not just eyeing my treatment results to use them for your own benefit and then seek credit for yourself, are you? Well, I won't indulge you anymore." Jiang Qiusheng's wife was also something. "Clearly, it was my proposed plan, but you took it to another hospital. If anything goes wrong, I would still be held responsible. After the surgery, the attending physician wasn't even me. At your age, don't you understand how to be a decent person?" Fang Hao shook his head and said, "Both directors, I agree with this plan, and I can't think of a better one." Yang Wenjin looked at Fang Hao suspiciously and asked, "Can't you give any suggestions?" Fang Hao replied, "Directors, I graduated from undergraduate school only 4 years ago, did my postgraduate studies part-time in the first half of this year, and just enrolled in a part-time PhD. Now, I've only had a prescription authority for 2 or 3 months, and my clinical experience is almost zero. I'm just an ordinary associate chief physician in the department, a regular attending physician. I'm not as outstanding as you think. You're professors and experts in our hospital with rich experience. The plan you discuss must be the most reasonable. I wouldn't dare to offer my opinion without your invitation." Yang Wenjin said, "But, in practice, the treatment under this plan hasn't shown the expected results. Why is that?" "I don't know." Fang Hao continued to play dumb. Yang Wenjin frowned. She had a hunch that Fang Hao was deliberately hiding his abilities, but she had no evidence. She looked at Zhou Long, their eyes met, and she was helpless. Zhou Long said, "Fang Hao, I heard you are proposing a project to treat myasthenia gravis?" Fang Hao hastily said, "Dean Zhou, that information is inaccurate. It's not my intention. I don't have the ability or qualifications. It's a project led by Director Liu. I'm just assisting her." He shifted the blame to Lu Jing. Zhou Long asked, "So, how do you plan to treat it? Trying to steal my plan, or trying to take advantage of it for free?" Fang Hao said, "This is a project led by Director Liu. I'm only responsible for a small part of the procedure, and there are many details that Director Liu hasn't informed me about. If you want to know the complete treatment plan, go find Director Liu." Zhou Long said, "Creating factions like this is not good. You two are the ones creating factions. Your whole family is creating factions." Fang Hao said, "Dean Zhou, I don't understand what you mean. Fang Hao, is your divorce settled? If it's not settled, I'll give you leave to handle it properly before coming back to work." Yang Wenjin suddenly interjected. "I, Su Rou, Su Buiyuan, and Zhou Fun, our family have peacefully negotiated and concluded. Dean, if there's nothing else, I'll go to the outpatient department." Fang Hao cast a meaningful glance at Yang Wenjin. "This woman wants to make trouble with my divorce, she's quite sinister. I've encountered medical disputes 2 or 3 times, my reputation has long been shattered." He stood up and left. Zhou Long closed the door, waited for a moment, and then asked, "Lao Yang, you just mentioned that Fang Hao got divorced. Why didn't you inform me of such an important matter? How about we create a scandal between him and Lu Jing? Don't even think about it. The Zhang family is not something you can afford to provoke. Lu Jing is not an easy target either. If you mess with her, she will definitely retaliate tenfold. And Lu Jing's capabilities, we both know. She wants to take my position, but she has no chance. The only thing she relies on is Fang Hao. I understand. It's best if Fang Hao voluntarily leaves the provincial people's hospital. Otherwise, we'll tarnish his reputation and make him unable to stay." Zhou Long said viciously, adopting a posture of someone blocking the way. Lu Jing's office. Fang Hao recounted his conversation with Zhou Yang, seeking Lu Jing's opinion. After thinking for a moment, Lu Jing said, "Fang Hao, tell me honestly, is there really a problem with Jiang Qiusheng's treatment? In principle, there shouldn't be a major issue because the surgery was successful. The slow progress is due to Zhou Long replacing the originally imported medicine with domestically produced medicine. If Jiang Qiuxing chooses to transfer to another hospital, they will surely identify the issue and switch back to imported medication, then there won't be a problem. Since that's the case, I will find a way to suggest to Jiang Qiuxing to transfer elsewhere. We can't let Zhou Long benefit undeservedly. Director, it seems that Mrs. Jiang trusts Huang Yidao more. If Huang Yidao suggests transferring, Mrs. Jiang would probably consider it. That makes sense. Lu Jing thought Fang Hao's strategy was quite good, with a taste of attacking from a distance. She called Huang Yidao, dropped a few hints, and then gestured to Fang Hao with an OK sign. After thinking for a moment, Fang Hao decided to reveal the incident of receiving money from Su Jia, completely exposing his past to Lu Jing. I know Su Jia, she shouldn't behave like this. But it's hard to say. Business people like her sometimes lower their standards for the sake of profit. If Yang Wenjin or Zhou Long finds out, it will definitely be a big deal. Once this news spreads, no matter how you explain, it will be challenging to clear your name. Lu Jing was also stumped. She added, Fang Hao, you might have fallen into Su Jia's trap. It's not your fault. Even my aunt didn't notice the hidden agenda. It's truly speechless. Trap? Fang Hao thought for a moment. He had no grudges with Su Jia, and she shouldn't deliberately target him. The two were completely in different leagues, like comparing heaven and earth. Moreover, Su Jia's daughter was indeed pregnant, and judging from the attitudes of Su Jia and her daughter, they truly didn't want the child. Su Jia would undoubtedly protect her daughter and wouldn't allow the revelation of the unmarried pregnancy. This should have been a mutually confidential agreement, but Su Rou knew about it. Fang Hao speculated that Su Jia and Xingling Tian were in cahoots. Whether Su Rou didn't want a divorce or wanted to tarnish Fang Hao, Xingling Tian would have informed Su Rou of the money Fang Hao received. At the time Fang Hao accepted the money, it was precisely when Su Rou didn't want a divorce. If she wanted to balance the leverage in Fang Hao's hands, she would indeed choose to fish for information and hold Fang Hao's vital points. However, when Su Rou learned that Jia Jia was Xingling Tian's child, she accepted the divorce reality without causing a scene. Fang Hao recalled Su Rou's threatening expression and tone from last night and felt that she still had cards to play. Su Rou, are you really pushing us to expose each other? As Fang Hao was pondering, he suddenly received a notification from the collection mailbox. Li Xiaoxi sent him a document. He opened it, glanced at it briefly, and found that it was the basic information of private hospitals in Jiangdong City, including Tianyi Hospital and Backlight Sanatorium. Su Rou, come on, let me test your depth. Chapter 272, Behind-the-Scenes Connection. Tianyi Hospital, Backlight Sanatorium, and their asset management parent company are all under Tianji Medical Company. Tianji Medical Company, legal representative, Yue Xia Huo. After learning this, Fang Hao also discovered that Tianji Medical Company is a concept-listed company without a physical production base, warehouse, or a corresponding large office building. If I had 1 to 300 million, I could play some tricks on Tianji Medical in the stock market and make it shed some skin without going bankrupt. Unfortunately, I don't have that 1 to 300 million, but Zhang Jun does. However, how could cautious Zhang Jun come up with 1 to 300 million? Fang Hao, looking at the information, fell into contemplation. He even pondered over this question on his way to the obstetrics and gynecology department. In the underground parking lot of the obstetrics and gynecology department, Li Xiaoxi saw that Fang Hao was driving a domestically produced low-end car and asked, Director Fang, why are you so low-key? What about your Mercedes? Fang Hao didn't bother explaining. Seeing Fang Hao's lack of interest, Li Xiaoxi said, You look unhappy, as if you're unwilling. What do you mean? Do you want to back out? I followed your request and leaked the core secrets to you. If you stand me up, it's a bit much. Fang Hao, looking at Li Xiaoxi, thought, even if I stand up this woman, what can she do to me? Forget it, this woman still has some trade value. He said, Dean Li, don't worry. I'm here, right? Lead the way, let's go directly to your office, check the recent films, and then look at that pregnant woman. Entering the elevator, Li Xiaoxi intentionally stood a bit closer to Fang Hao and asked, How's the plan? Quickly reveal some details. I need to review the pregnant woman's condition first. Fang Hao was cautious. Although he knew that Li Xiaoxi wouldn't set him up, he couldn't reveal all his trump cards to her. They went directly to the office arranged by Li Xiaoxi, examined the CT films and other data of the pregnant woman, and then Fang Hao went to the VIP ward to examine the pregnant woman's pulse. You're the doctor who helped my baby untangle last time. I asked Dean Li to call you and thank you in person. Why didn't you come? The pregnant woman saw Fang Hao and remembered that it was Fang Hao who massaged her belly, and then her baby started to move and eventually resolved the crisis of umbilical cord entanglement. At that time, she was so happy that she accepted the congratulations from Li Xiaoxi and others, neglecting Fang Hao's presence. Only later did she realize that she hadn't talked to the handsome and highly skilled Fang Hao, causing her lingering regret. But unexpectedly, the handsome doctor had come again. Li Xiaoxi felt a bit embarrassed. She quickly explained, those days, Dr. Fang went for further studies. Oh, so that's how it is. It's good that you're back. From now on, I'll entrust my pregnancy checkups to you. The pregnant woman looked at Fang Hao and, noticing his indifferent expression and the focused attention under his handsomeness, felt like he was enveloped in a mysterious brilliance. Fang Hao, however, was immersed in the concentrated demeanor of pulse diagnosis. Combining the pulse readings with CT scans and other data, a multidimensional and stereoscopic image formed in his mind. The location of the lesion was clear, and the corresponding treatment plan emerged. After he finished the pulse examination, he said, no problem. I'll follow the arrangements of Dean Li. He glanced at Li Xiaoxi with a meaningful look. Although she felt a pang in her heart, all she could say were some routine words before returning to the consultation room. At this moment, the family representative of the pregnant woman, the same assertive leader's family member from the previous video, joined the consultation room. Staring at Fang Hao, the leader's family member said, You, the doctor, seem familiar. You participated in the cholera epidemic response. Your name is? I forgot for a moment. Li Xiaoxi quickly explained, he's Dr. Fang Hao. He discovered the cholera and, as a doctor, participated in the entire process of controlling the epidemic. Mayor Qin and Director Jing have both met and commended him. The leader's family member nodded slightly. Li Xiaoxi continued, the surgeries for Zhang Jun, Zhou Fun, Jiang Qiuxing, Tang Wan, and others were all personally performed and managed by him. The leader's family member raised an eyebrow, looking at Fang Hao with a hint of admiration. She said, Dr. Fang, you look so young, yet your medical skills are remarkable. Li Xiaoxi shot Fang Hao a look, as if saying, look at you. You've performed so many high-difficulty surgeries and saved many VIP patients. You should use these achievements to boost your reputation. It's your loss if you don't. I'm thinking about your future, you know. Remember my favor. She continued, last time, when the baby's neck was entangled, it was based on Dr. Fang's theories and superb techniques. Even the location of the lesion was discovered through Dr. Fang's pulse diagnosis. The leader's family member stood up directly, shook Fang Hao's hand, and said, Dr. Fang, you must help us this time and ensure the safety of our mother and child. This is an early-stage lesion with no spread and can be cured. At the same time, it won't harm the baby. I already have a treatment plan. There's no need for immediate surgery, we can opt for conservative treatment. While ensuring it doesn't spread, we can allow the lesion to shrink further until it reaches the optimal size for minimally invasive surgery. We can then remove it at the right time, either during childbirth or at a scheduled time after delivery. However, early stages are not necessarily safe, as they can turn into intermediate and late stages at any time. So, early treatment is still necessary. Fang Hao confidently explained. However, his expression remained calm, showing no signs of flattery or fawning just because the patient's family was a leader. The leader's family member asked, what's the success rate? As long as you cooperate, the success rate is 100%. Then you will be the attending doctor. Tell us how we can cooperate, feel free to say. I'll talk to Dean Li first. Fang Hao's mouth twitched slightly, and he went out with Li Xiaoxi. Li Xiaoxi asked, what are you doing now? Fang Hao said, transfer this patient to the Provincial People's Hospital under my management. Don't worry, I will speak highly of you, just like you did for me earlier. Seeing Li Xiaoxi's change in expression, he quickly added, I need to take over the treatment from Mr. Cheng, and I can't leave the hospital easily. On your side, the treatment is not something that can be concluded in one session. When you asked me to do the pregnancy checkup, I couldn't just come here for a simple checkup. If she knows I'm from the Provincial People's Hospital, she might transfer there. Can you stop her then? During this time, you've become friends with them, and they will probably come to you for help in the future. We will continue our cooperative relationship, right? I don't fully trust you, but what you said makes sense. I don't have the ability to cure them, and they might choose to transfer to the provincial people's hospital. During this period, you and they have become friends, and they will probably come to you for help in the future. We will continue our cooperative relationship, right? Li Xiaoxi was a bit unhappy. She even suspected that Fang Hao had thought of this strategy a long time ago, setting a trap for her since he hinted about the pregnant woman having breast cancer last time. She had no choice but to fall into it. Seeing that Li Xiaoxi agreed, Fang Hao continued, Dean Li, let me ask you something else. Do you know a person named Xingling Tian? He's well known, but I haven't met this old man. It's impossible. Your husband can handle the equipment procurement for Tianyi Hospital. That's a lucrative job. You've heard of Xingling Tian, yet you haven't met him? My elder sister is quite familiar with Xingling Tian, so my husband benefits from it. How familiar is familiar? You're the father of 2 children now, and you don't know that men and women can be quite familiar in certain matters, right? What is your elder sister doing now? If you know about Tianyi Hospital, you should know that my elder sister is the Vice President and Financial Commissioner of Tianyi Hospital. I have no idea. How would I know? Is your elder sister beautiful? Very much so. She used to be a famous flower in Jiangdong City. That's all I wanted to know. Let's proceed with the transfer procedures. Fang Hao felt a strong sense of jealousy, hatred, and even amusement in his heart. Xingling Tian, your legend is everywhere, isn't it? Su Rou, are you blind? How could you fall in love with such an old pervert and scoundrel? Chapter 273, Using a Borrowed Knife to Kill the Dog. At the Provincial People's Hospital, Lu Jing informed Fang Hao, just as you expected, Huang Yidao mentioned it to Mrs. Jiang. She immediately contacted a hospital in the capital, and they have already transferred. Now, Yang Wenjin and Zhou Long must be very angry. Fang Hao thought darkly, what's that got to do with me? After a moment, he handed a medical record to Lu Jing, saying, besides Mr. Cheng, I snatched a special patient from the maternity and child care department, the one I mentioned on the phone earlier. Lu Jing quickly glanced through it, her brows furrowing. This is Governor Guo's relative, pregnant with breast cancer. We can't afford the slightest mistake. What's your plan? Are you confident? Fang Hao replied, the breast cancer is only in the early stage, no signs of metastasis. We can control and shrink the lesion, followed by minimally invasive surgery to remove it directly. The second option is conservative treatment. After the pregnant woman gives birth, we can then remove the lesion. I'm leaning towards the first option. Taking a sip of tea, he continued, we need to use 2 special care rooms at once. Yang Wenjin will know immediately. Will she interfere? No problem. The patient's status is clear. What can Yang Wenjin say or dare to say? Our patient's level is there for all to see. Looking at her watch, Lu Jing said, we have 10 minutes, Mr. Cheng will be here soon. Let's go to the entrance to welcome her. They will definitely be there. If they don't like the sight of me, I won't go. I'll go directly to the patient's room later. Fang Hao went to work on the paperwork and then entered a medical forum, posting 2 threads discussing Mr. Cheng's condition and some details about the leader's family's pregnant woman. It was like a live broadcast of the treatment. After that, he received a call from Lu Jing, and he went directly to the inpatient department. While waiting for the elevator, he saw one of the familiar vice directors of the inpatient department, Luo Yunlan. Dr. Luo reminded Fang Hao of the difficult time he had during the Li Wei incident 2 months ago, and he felt uncomfortable. Seeing Fang Hao, Dr. Luo gave him a once-over and her eyes were full of jealousy. How could a man have a face more beautiful than hers? Moreover, he had excellent medical skills. Most importantly, Fang Hao pretended not to see her, didn't greet her, didn't say hello, didn't even wait for her to get on the elevator and directly pressed the close button. She said, Fang Hao, I need to talk to you. Shut up. If you disturb my thoughts, be prepared to resign to Director Yang. Oh, let me shut up, saying that I disturb your thoughts, and I have to resign to Director Yang? How capable you are. You must explain to me today. Dr. Luo, like an irritated female cat, suddenly exploded. She grabbed Fang Hao's arm, turned him towards her, and stared at him with big eyes. You must explain today why you ignored me, didn't greet me, didn't say hello, didn't even give way to me just now, and even pressed the close button before I got on. Oh, Fang Hao, I have to say something to you. Shut up. If you disturb my thoughts, be prepared to resign to Director Yang. Let me shut up, saying that I disturb your thoughts, and I have to resign to Director Yang? How capable you are. You must explain to me today. Dr. Luo, like an irritated female cat, suddenly exploded. She grabbed Fang Hao's arm, turned him towards her, and stared at him with big eyes. Fang Hao calmly said, "Explain to you? Are you qualified? You? All right. You're so arrogant. Today, I'll let you know whether I'm qualified or not. No one is leaving." Dr. Luo grabbed Fang Hao's hand forcefully, afraid he would run away. "A nasty dog is blocking my way. You and Director Yang come to the elevator entrance." Fang Hao sent a voice message to Lu Jing. "A nasty dog? Are you calling me a dog?" "Fang Hao, we're not finished." Dr. Luo became even angrier, grabbing Fang Hao's hand tighter. "Nasty woman, I've tolerated you for a long time. Today, there's no need to tolerate anymore. Later, let's see if Director Yang will protect you." Fang Hao's face remained calm. The elevator reached the top, and the doors opened. Yang Wenjin and Lu Jing were already waiting outside. Upon witnessing the scene of confrontation between Fang Hao and Dr. Luo, they were puzzled. Dr. Luo released Fang Hao and went to Yang Wenjin, rushing to say, "Fang Hao is too much. He didn't let me into the elevator, distorted the facts, and even called me a dog. Director, please judge." Upon hearing this, Lu Jing, considering Fang Hao's challenging 4 years in the inpatient department, suspected a significant connection with Dr. Luo. "Fang Hao, why is it you again?" Yang Wenjin's face turned serious. "Yes, it's me again. Isn't it because I'm easy to bully?" "Director Yang, just fire me," Fang Hao said calmly. "Do you think I don't want to fire you? Look at the trouble you've caused. But today, you must behave well in your position. If you don't fire me, then fire her." Fang Hao pointed directly at Dr. Luo. "Director, look at how he behaves. Fire him." Dr. Luo felt triumphant, looking at Fang Hao with both mockery and pity. She, being the deputy director of the inpatient department with a senior title and extensive experience, held considerable influence in the hospital. In comparison, Fang Hao, a medical graduate of only 4 years, just obtaining prescription rights, and currently without a formal position, was not on the same level. "Dr. Luo Yanlan, go submit your resignation." Yang Wenjin decisively instructed Dr. Luo, then turned around and led Lu Jing towards the patient's room. Dr. Luo was thunderstruck, standing still. "You brought this upon yourself, don't blame me." Fang Hao's lips curled slightly. Expressionless, he passed by Dr. Luo without another glance. With 3 or 4 steps, he caught up with Yang Wenjin and the others. Yang Wenjin glanced back at Fang Hao and whispered to Lu Jing, "I haven't stepped down yet, and they're already eager to eliminate dissidents. It's a bit too much." Lu Jing replied, "All of this is for the sake of medical treatment. Fang Hao is a pure doctor. You know him well, he wouldn't have any malicious intentions. Everyone should just behave." Yang Wenjin said no more. In the patient's room, besides the elderly patient lying in bed, there were several family members, including Qingyu. "Dr. Fang, I'm Li Dong, Qing Lao's 3rd son. I heard about the previous unpleasantness. I apologize to you. We didn't respect and protect Dr. Fang properly. We're sorry." A middle-aged man approached and offered a sincere apology to Fang Hao. "Dr. Fang, I also apologize to you. Please forgive us." Qingyu also apologized, as she was scolded severely for Fang Hao not treating Qing Lao since Qingbin hit him. "Leave only one family member here. The others, please leave. Just you. Irrelevant individuals, leave too." Fang Hao didn't accept the apologies, nor did he impose any challenging conditions. He designated the middle-aged woman next to Li Dong, judging from their intimacy, she should be Li Dong's wife. In a short while, only Qing Lao, Fang Hao, Lu Jing, Yang Wenjin, and Li Dong's wife remained. Fang Hao glanced at Qing Lao, finding no significant changes from the previous days. While checking Qing Lao's pulse, he asked, "The prescription I wrote, are you still getting the medicines as prescribed, or did you modify the prescription?" Qing Lao, seeing that Fang Hao didn't mention anything else, replied, "We're still getting the medicines as prescribed, and we've also modified the prescription." "And acupuncture?" "It's in progress." "How's the effect?" "No effect at all, and I feel it has even worsened. So, I still rely on Dr. Fang for treatment." "I see," Fang Hao said indifferently. "So, it's ineffective, or else you wouldn't have moved here to see me." Chapter 274, Ex-Wife Suddenly Appears. "Ah, Dr. Xiao Fang, your medical skills are truly unique." After Fang Hao treated Qing Lao for a while, she felt like she did after Fang Hao's second treatment. She sensed her feet belonged to her again. In the past few days, no matter how other doctors performed acupuncture, none had the immediate and significant effect like Fang Hao. Don't get too excited. Even with the 2 previous acupuncture sessions, it hasn't completed a full cycle. It's still a long way from a complete recovery. Another thing, under my supervision, you can consult with other doctors for reference, discuss with them, but it's better not to let them treat you or use their medications randomly. Otherwise, I won't be able to control the treatment process and ensure its effectiveness. Also, your family members, well, forget it. They'll only cause trouble if I mention it. While giving medical advice, Fang Hao also advised Li Dong's wife on some dietary matters, concluding the treatment. On the other side, the pregnant woman transferred from the Women and Children's Hospital had also arrived, staying in another ward on the same floor. Fang Hao went over, arranged for examinations, and started the first phase of treatment. The pregnant woman's mother-in-law, the one from the leadership family, initially wasn't happy about Fang Hao's transfer. After all, she trusted the Women and Children's Hospital more, and they had treated her with much respect. However, when she discovered Fang Hao was simultaneously treating Cheng Lao, she dared not complain. After communicating with Cheng Lao's family, she found out that Fang Hao had mentioned Cheng Lao could stand up again. This gained her respect and trust in Fang Hao. Cheng Yu wanted to talk to Fang Hao again, but Fang Hao had been busy, and she didn't get a chance. In the evening, Fang Hao finished checking the rooms and left work. Cheng Yu hurriedly followed Fang Hao to the parking lot. However, she was stopped by someone from the Li family. It was a young man in police uniform, looking sharp and sunny. Auntie Biao, Grandma said you can't get close to Dr. Fang. If you don't listen, we'll have to detain you. Li Jun, don't block my way. I just want to talk to him and apologize. Cheng Yu wanted to approach Fang Hao and speak to him. If she didn't stop him now, he would leave. That's not allowed. Li Jun was stubborn and took out handcuffs. Seeing Cheng Yu still wanting to go over, he directly grabbed her hand and handcuffed her. Cheng Yu was speechless and could only give up. She noticed Li Jun getting into the car, following behind Fang Hao's car. Cheng Yu thought of going to Fang Hao's home later but had to suppress the idea. After getting in the car, she called Su Ro, saying, "Where are you?" "At Tianyi Hospital." "I'm back, and I also saw your husband. Fang Hao. I've already divorced him. He's no longer my husband. Did Ling Tian agree to marry you?" Cheng Yu was a bit surprised and jealous because, from her understanding, only Su Ro, who received Ling Tian's affirmation and promise, would divorce Fang Hao. No, he didn't change his mind so easily. "But I have to divorce, let's talk about this later." "Why are you looking for me?" "Fang Hao is treating my aunt, and I want to apologize to him in person. But now, my aunt doesn't let me get close to him. I want to arrange to meet him through your connections." "Forget it. I didn't expect you two had already divorced. Let it go." Cheng Yu hung up the phone, feeling uneasy. Fang Hao and Su Ro actually divorced smoothly, contrary to her expectations. "Su Ro, are you really going to marry Ling Tian?" "Daddy, I miss Mommy again. Can we go find Mommy?" As Fang Hao carried his son out of the hospital gate, he heard the headache-inducing question once more. "Daddy is very tired, and Mommy is busy too. Let's not go today, we can do it another day." Fang Hao chose to refuse. He couldn't let things continue endlessly with his ex-wife. If it weren't for the child, he wouldn't even want to think about that woman. Some things, some emotions, are better off severed. "What's Jia Jia doing? Let's go find her." The son indirectly raised the same question. "Jia Jia is sick and receiving treatment. When she gets better, we'll go visit her." "Daddy, I still miss Mommy." "Enough, don't talk about this. You can't go see Mommy whenever you want, Mommy won't come out every time." "Oh." The son felt a bit disappointed, but being carried by his father was also very comfortable, so he continued to pester. When Fang Hao asked about making new friends in kindergarten and how he played with other kids, his son spoke endlessly, completely forgetting about the existence of his mother, Su Ro. However, when Fang Hao returned home and finished cooking, someone knocked on the door. To his surprise, it was his ex-wife, Su Ro. "Why are you here, Mama?" Fang Hao didn't expect his son to follow him out and discover Su Ro. He directly pounced on her. "I missed you every day. Son, do you miss Mommy?" Su Ro ignored Fang Hao, went over, hugged Tian, found it a bit difficult, put him down, and entered the house together with her son. She looked at the entrance and found no women's shoes, so she wore Fang Hao's slippers. Inside the house, there were other women, and even Fang Hao's parents didn't come over. Although Su Ro's face remained calm, she secretly breathed a sigh of relief. It seems he didn't immediately find someone new to replace me. He still has me in his heart. Thinking of this, Su Ro's mouth showed a hint of pride. Mama, wash your hands quickly. Daddy has made delicious food, let's eat. The son said this and pulled Su Ro out to eat, just like the scene when they lived in the marital home. Fang Hao prepared the food, and then the son and daughter would pull Su Ro out to eat. Frowning, Fang Hao comforted himself, she is still the mother of his child, having a meal together is not a big deal. Dad's cooking is delicious. Mom hasn't eaten it for many days. I've missed it a lot. Aren't you hungry, Mom? Yeah, Mom, eat more. The son stood up, tiptoed, stretched out his not-so-long hand, and picked up some food for Su Ro. Yeah, my son is still considerate to Mom. Su Ro couldn't help but praise. Fang Hao's cooking skills had improved again. This man was becoming more and more satisfying to her. However, because he cared about Face, insisted on divorcing her, and she learned that her daughter was the result of her and Ling Tian, she agreed to the divorce. These days, Ling Tian didn't agree to marry her, making her unable to see any hope. She felt that her former husband, Fang Hao, was better. So, taking advantage of missing her son, she came over. Her son liked Su Ro very much, telling Su Ro everything about the new kindergarten. Su Ro was good at communicating with her son, and in a few words, he would tell her everything. Mom, I don't like the new dad. Don't go with the new dad. You'll live with dad, right? The son suddenly said something like this. Okay. You go and play. Su Ro smiled, sent her son to his room to play, closed the door, and turned to Fang Hao, saying, Don't be like this. I just came to eat a meal. You look at me with a dark face. Su Ro, we're divorced. What are you doing here? What do you mean? I came to see my son. Coincidentally, you were having a meal. Otherwise, I would have taken my son out to eat. Your house is a bit smaller and simpler now, but it suits your style. Su Ro wandered around and came to Fang Hao's bedroom, sitting on Fang Hao's bed. You've seen it, had the meal, and seen the house. My son is doing well. You don't need to worry. You can leave. Fang Hao, it's been a few days since we divorced. You should have found someone new. How are you dealing with that aspect? I'll stay tonight and help you. Chapter 275, To Die with a Clear Conscience. Su Ro, have you no shame? Fang Hao stood by the door, arms crossed, looking at his ex-wife with a face full of disgust. His ex-wife suggested staying overnight and continuing their previous intimacy. Even though she was an unparalleled beauty, the fact that she fell for an old scoundrel several decades her senior made him feel a disgust he had never felt before. He had cherished her for 4 years, thinking that the woman as pure as jade, beneath her glamorous appearance, turned out to be such a shameless person who disregarded moral values. This made him shudder with revulsion. Fang Hao, why are you looking at me like this? I'm just thinking about you. We've been married for 4 years, and I know your abilities, your needs, and your current state. You're shameless to such an extent. Su Ro, don't talk about these useless things. How could you know that Su Jie gave me money? Fang Hao didn't want to bring up the traces of the past 4 years. Any memories would make him feel foolish. He only wanted those memories to sink into the depths of time and never be brought up again. He wanted to let go of the past, return to the present, and envision the future. I don't want to talk about those troublesome matters. Let's treat it as a brief reunion, be loving once more. I feel like I've calmed down, and I'm willing to let you in again. Hey, you. If you push me out, I'll loudly talk about the money you received. Su Ro said, being led by Fang Hao with her wrist towards the door. She was very angry and played her trump card. Fine, let's hurt each other. I'll go tell Su Buiyuan and Zhou Fen. I'll say that Xing Lingtian slept with their daughter and even got her pregnant with Xing Lingtian's illegitimate child. I want to see the reactions of those two high and mighty professors and how they'll evaluate their daughter. Fang Hao coldly stated. You? Fang Hao, are you insane? If you don't want to be with me, let's not. Why are you bringing my parents into this? Su Ro suddenly realized that her own mess was still not fit to be exposed. If Xing Lingtian didn't give her a definite answer, she couldn't bear it alone. She quickly went to the door and blocked Fang Hao's way. So, Xing Lingtian hasn't agreed to marry you yet. It seems he hasn't met Su Buiyuan and Zhou Fen either. Trash! Disgusting maggots! You, Su Ro, are also a rotten woman, a loose woman. You're more despicable and disgusting than those fallen women. Because, inside and out, you're filthy. Completely filthy. Especially your heart, thoroughly tainted. You're disgusting. You make me extremely nauseous. Fang Hao rebuked coldly, very angry. He was suppressing his emotions and voice, so it looked even more fierce. Su Rou didn't expect to be so unbearable in her ex-husband's eyes. She thought that time would heal wounds, and her beauty, intelligence, and coquetry would make Fang Hao forget about her infidelity. But Fang Hao didn't buy into her act. On the contrary, he was extremely repulsed by her. Fang Hao, stop talking. If you don't understand, don't speak blindly. Husband, please stop. Su Rou shook her head, and tears were about to burst out. She had betrayed Fang Hao, and now, being scolded by him, she couldn't retort. Answer my question. Fang Hao questioned again. Fang Hao, I won't bring this up again. I was wrong. I shouldn't have mentioned it last night. I was wrong. Just forget about that sentence, don't take it to heart. Su Rou hurriedly comforted Fang Hao. You're not wrong. I took the money. Do you know why I took the money? Because Su Jie's daughter is pregnant. She asked me to perform an abortion, and only I can do it without leaving a trace. In the future, as long as I don't say anything, and they don't say anything, even in premarital checkups, it will be hard to detect that Su Jie's daughter was once pregnant before marriage. This is the consultation fee and also the hush money. Fang Hao didn't hide anything. Su Jie did it on the 1st, so he did it on the 15th. If something happened, everyone would go down together. Why should he be so passive? He continued, do you have any connection with Su Jie? I guess you do because you handle financial matters. If there is business between Jiulong Group and Su Jie's group, and both of you are women, the possibility of coordinating work is high. However, I guess there's another possibility, that Su Jie is also Xing Lingtian's woman. Su Jie told Xing Lingtian, and then Xing Lingtian told you. Seeing his ex-wife's eyes visibly widen, he knew he hit the mark. He continued, Xing Lingtian told you for 2 reasons, to catch you holding on to my weakness, preventing our divorce, and to defame me in front of you, making you more loyal to him, letting him manipulate you. This is just like how, for 4 years, he played with you, making me wear the green hat. He thought he was high and mighty, able to trample me to death. And you never looked up to me because you two were having an affair. Fang Hao, it's not like that. I like you, I really love you. Su Rou hurriedly defended herself. Disgusting. Pa. The dumbest and unluckiest thing I've ever done is meeting you. I thought you liked me too. Damn it, you fooled me for 4 years. You won't have a good end. Fang Hao, will never easily let you and him off. Husband, don't be like this. I don't want to hurt you. Don't oppose him. You're not his match. Haha, an old guy with half his body buried in the yellow soil. Am I scared of him? Fang Hao spat, saying, right, he has his lackeys, and you people cheer and shout for him, shamelessly doing things for him. You even sell your own dignity, wanting to drag me down with you and be tainted together. Pa. Disgusting. Su Rou looked at Fang Hao with some surprise. She didn't expect that with just a few words, Fang Hao could reveal some of Xing Lingtian's actions. Bringing Yue Xia onto the scene not only cleared her suspicions but also had a purpose. She hoped Yue Xia could take Fang Hao down. This way, if Fang Hao had an affair, he couldn't pursue Su Rou's wrongdoing. Even the couple could cover up for each other. However, Fang Hao was not that kind of person. At that time, he was already suspicious, or rather, had completely obtained evidence of Su Rou's affair. Fang Hao had secretly done a paternity test before, just not sure if it was Xing Lingtian. So, Fang Hao held back, waiting for his daughter to fall ill and require a bone marrow match. He couldn't hide it any longer. Instead, Yue Xia was an exposed card wandering outside, seen through by Fang Hao. In the end, she became a stumbling block, causing her mother Zhoufan to fall ill. In short, the ex-husband was not foolish, and she had not completely understood him. She didn't understand his character. She sighed in her heart, watching Fang Hao in this state. She also felt very uncomfortable. Fang Hao continued, Su Rou, let me tell you something. Now my job at the hospital is about to take off. I'm going to stand out. You'd better quickly go tell Xing Lingtian or personally find Yang Wenjin to suppress me. Although Xing Lingtian abandoned Yang Wenjin, she is still Xing Lingtian's loyal servant, just like you. She would still betray her principles and betray everything for Xing Lingtian. If Yang Wenjin knows I took money, she will definitely make a big deal out of it, make a big issue out of me. If you want to make a move, you have to act quickly. Otherwise, this little grass will sprout, and you will have to pay a more miserable price to suppress me. Husband, I won't hurt you. I've never thought of hurting you. I swear, Su-ro, now and in the future, I will never hurt you. Otherwise, I won't have a good end. Whether you believe it or not is up to you. I'll leave now. I won't say goodbye to our son. Su-ro wiped away the tears from the corner of her eyes, picked up the little bag, changed her shoes, and quickly left. She felt like she was in a different world, a hint of fear, and an ominous premonition deep in her heart. Oh heavens, can Fang Hao really harm Zhang Lingtian now?